Oui, quand ils sont d'accord entre eux, parce qu'à Nice, il a fait un petit tour week-end pour que finalement, ce soit le préfet qui décide probablement que c'est le Matignon. En Moselle, au début, certains voulaient continuer comme ça, d'autres d'une autre façon. Là aussi, la réponse c'est pas non, on parle de voilà, il y a ces mots des économistes, comme ce slogan qui apparaît d'ailleurs au fronton du compte Twitter d'Emmanuel Macron, de Jean Castex, de Libéran et d'autres, c'est tenir ensemble plutôt que Jean Castex. Nous environs le bout de la progression de la campagne vaccinale nous permet de nous fixer cap à fin du printemps. À cet horizon, la protection des plus vulnérables devrait nous permettre de réduire les effets de cette épidémie sur la population tout entière. D'ici là, nous devons tenir et savoir adapter nos mesures à l'évolution de la situation, sans retard ni précipitation, dans la recherche des bons équilibres, dans le dialogue toujours avec les élus et les territoires.
Géraldine Zamanski, nous regarderons tout à l'heure ensemble et surtout avec vous, quelle est la stratégie vaccinale dans le détail, voire même cette espérance autour de traitements possibles. Mais se tenir ensemble, là, il nous dit une chose, Jean Castex, c'est fin du printemps, c'est l'horizon désormais. Quand on croise les courbes de la montée en puissance de la vaccination, avec peut-être cette épidémie qui traverse les populations. Il y a une donnée scientifique là-dessus. Vous savez, l'année dernière, il y a eu, rappelez-vous, une sorte d'affaissement de l'épidémie avec les beaux jours. Hein.
On était tous confinés.
Parce que nous étions confinés.
Donc, je ne connais pas les données scientifiques qui appuient ce bout du tunnel de Jean Castex.
Ça ne repose peut-être sur rien, c'est une impression plus qu'autre chose.
Oui, enfin, c'est effectivement peut-être aussi une façon d'aider les gens à supporter ensuite ce qui va arriver, c'est-à-dire de leur dire quand le 6 mars, sans doute, il faudra décider de choses plus difficiles, et ben, que les gens l'acceptent en disant c'est bon, on n'en a que pour 1 mois et demi, 2 mois. Comme l'année dernière, ils nous ont annoncé le confinement, ils nous ont dit 15 jours au début. Tous les spécialistes nous disaient il y en a au minimum pour 6 semaines, mais c'était inaudible. Donc là, peut-être aussi que c'est pour, je ne sais pas, adoucir.
Il dit d'ailleurs fin de l'été, fin du printemps, qui correspond au début de l'été, au 21 juin.
20h, 21h, les informés, Jean-François Aquili.
100 all lanes are reopened and the ramp from Duckworth also reopened.
And this meant that psychology was established in the United States in the university setting. It's centered on laboratory research and experimentation. And as university psychology...
There we segue to Africa in French.
Marcus, homme marié, fidèle et père de famille. Seulement voilà, il faut quand même avoir sacrément confiance en son coéquipier de travail pour échanger.
Justin Timberlake even issued an apology to Spears and Janet Jackson. The documentary has also raised concerns.
How is this documentary, Britney Spears documentary, again about
since 2008?
Justin Timberlake? I'm
confused. Britney has grown in popularity since the documentary was released in the U.S. At the Business Center, I'm Chris McCusker.
California set a record. California is the first state to surpass 50,000 dead from COVID-19. This week, Los Angeles County announced 806 backlogged COVID-19 deaths, which were not properly counted when LA was suffering from a surge in December and January. The COVID rates here dropping rapidly now. Hospitalizations and new cases are going down. Schools are beginning to reopen. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
A former USA Gymnastics coach who had ties to convicted sex offender Larry Nassar found dead today, shortly after he was charged with trafficking and assault.
Getter died after Attorney General Dana Nessel announced charges were filed against him, including sexual assault and human trafficking.
It is alleged that John Getter used force, fraud, and coercion against the young athletes that came to him for gymnastics training for financial benefit to him.
Gettert was coach of the U.S. women's team that won a gold medal in 2012 at the London Olympics. Gettert also had ties to former sports doctor Larry Nassar, who's in prison.
The victims suffer from disordered eating, including bulimia and anorexia, suicide attempts and self-harm, excessive physical conditioning.
Nessel says many of these victims still carry these scars from Gettert's behavior to this day. I'm Ed Donahue.
Traffic weather next.
Start your weekdays with Morning Live on CHCH.
Good morning, I'm Annette Hall. Here's what we're working on.
Stream or tune in at 6 a.m. for updates on the latest from your region with weekly briefs from health professionals and local officials.
Our Meet the Mayor series continues.
Weather and traffic for those heading out the door.
Here's the radar we're looking at, non-essential traffic.
Lots of bad people and lots of bad. Oh, how do they end up being coaches to young people? Will they seek out that type of fucking access?
Are you looking for a trusted and experienced online
No,
high
this
school where
access,
you earn
you
credits
pay for it
upgrade
too.
your marks?
Wow,
Learn
these are
at home
just
with
scams.
Ontario Virtual School, Ontario's leading online learning provider. With over 10 years of experience, OVS has over 120 interactive and engaging courses to choose from, including STEM, French immersion, and more. Sign up today, set your own schedule, and get 24-hour access to their certified teachers. To learn more and see why over 20,000 students have chosen to learn with OVS, visit OntarioVirtualSchool.ca.
680 news time, 7:21.
Traffic and weather together on the ones, Carling Donahue.
This report is brought to you by Leon's Furniture. We have an update on the eastbound 401 collision approaching Warden in the collectors. There's now 2 lanes blocked off of this crash. That's causing a heavy delay from the DVP and the collectors. So get into the express before then, and you'll just bypass these issues. Westbound 401, the northbound Allen ramp to the highway is with a right lane blocked due to a crash. So that's new. You can still use the ramp, but there is that crash on it, so be careful. And then we have a delay west 401 just around Mavis and the Express. Northbound 400, still seeing this full closure from Dunlop to Bayfield up in Barrie. All lanes are closed for a police investigation. It's causing a really heavy delay from approaching Mapleview, So get off the highway before Mapleview and you'll bypass these issues. If you're on the Fort Erie bound QEW, MTO notifying me this issue past Fruitland is clear, but I can still see really heavy delays from just past Centennial Parkway all the way to past Fruitland. So it's a slow going drive through that stretch for sure. Eastbound on the 403, the ramp to Lincoln Alexander Parkway is missing a right lane with a collision. And other than that, all your other major routes are up to speed. The Reno vacation sale is on now at Leon's. Create your own escape at home with special prices on furniture, mattresses, appliances, electronics, and more. Limited time. Visit leons.ca for details. Now with the forecast, here's Denise Andriacci.
It's been a pretty solid forecast the last couple of days, and today it was sunny and seasonal. We'll tap into that sunny seasonal air mass again for Friday. Highs near 3 degrees into the afternoon tomorrow, with that high pressure sticking around through the day, and then clouds will increase. We could see a trace to 1 centimeter of snow Friday night into pre-dawn. Saturday, temperatures will start to climb. We'll get into some mixing, and then eventually just some straight periods of rain Saturday as temps climb to near 6 degrees. Your overnight low tonight, -7. Downtown Toronto, mainly clear and 1 degree.
Coming up the bottom of the hour, another update today from provincial health officials, this time on the modeling. It shows the variants of concern continue to spread at an accelerated pace, will likely make up around 40% of the COVID cases by mid-March, but it's not all bad news. And we'll bring you the good news straight ahead. This is 680 News.
Mask quality matters. It's a fact. Where do you rate it?
Military now embroiled in controversy. It's very questionable conduct in terms of where we go from here in terms of just the vetting process, never mind weeding out these individuals.
Yeah, and while the allegations are improved, Peter, I mean, the bottom line is both men were put in charge, and one was put in charge under the Harper government, but one man was put under the Trudeau government. Both were put in charge to clean up things like sexual misconduct.
And spoke about it, Alex. In his acceptance speech, Mark MacDonald talked about the fact that he was going to clean those very things up. And here he is under investigation. I want to give the guy his due. He is under investigation. We don't know absolutely and positively that he did something terrible. Maybe he'll be cleared. But it begs a question. You don't get to be an admiral and spend that without spending an awful lot of time in Canadian forces. And to speak of his predecessor, John Vance, who was also under investigation about sexual misconduct, you don't get to be a general unless you spend an awful lot of time. And people know what you're doing. And when it comes to the vetting process, I would simply say this. We're dealing with the Trudeau government, the same guys who hired Julie Payette. Now, she's not been charged with any sexual misconduct. She just seems to yell at people. Is there a vetting process at all, is the question I've got, because there sure doesn't seem to be.
No, because if they had just gone with Vice Admiral Mark Norman when they had the chance, we wouldn't even be talking about these stories, but I digress. Ottawa, looking to doing a virtual parliament.
Now, right?
And a new estimate suggests this hybrid parliament could save as much as $6.2 million. Apparently now costs are a thing in Ottawa. But this would see MPs and senators participate in service, in person, but mostly others by logging or remotely. Look, we've barely had a functioning government parliament since this pandemic started. Rick, so for me, it's an absolute hard no. Get your rear ends to work, because I don't think Parliament's functioning right now as it is, remotely. Where are you on this?
Yeah, listen, I like the cost save. Certainly, if we can trim, some dollars at this point in time in our lives, great. But in the same sense, we are paying these people's salaries. These are our elected officials. We elected them to be in office, and if they can, at least some of them, or most of them, can be at work and do so safely, I think that's the way to go. These are individuals that have to have the debates, of our day, and to do so virtually, feasibly it can happen. But we put these individuals in office for a reason, to represent us and to make the hard decisions. And I think doing so virtually kind of takes some of the, the veil away, if you will, in terms of, their
pouring milk down the drain.
I'm lost for the word, but in terms of their accountability to us, they can do this so virtually. But I want to see people in the House debating, and not necessarily getting under each other's skin, but trying to solve the issues that mean the most to us.
We all watch the live stream.
Yeah, I know the argument will be, Peter, well, we all learn how to do things virtually. But you well know, because you were in politics, there is something to be said about being there. And part of the reason that the Trudeau government has gotten away with so much during this pandemic is because there's no one there that can keep them held to account. Mainly, the reporters can't even get to them to scrum them and start demanding accountability and answers.
Well, that's what it is. It's the thrust and parry of being in person, in place. Now, I don't want to be old school. I've been working virtually, as have us all, over the course of the past year. It's not bad to do radio this way. I sit on some boards and things like that where I have to use Teams or Cisco WebEx or Zoom, all of the programs that everybody's using to connect virtually, and it's certainly better than nothing, or talking on the phone. But when it comes to Parliament, the gesture, the move, the dynamics of a room, as opposed to looking up at a big screen, and there's, let's just use the Prime Minister, because he often attends virtually, even though he's down the street. There he is on a big screen. It's not the same thing. I'm watching a movie.
He's also the only world leader not showing up, by the way.
That's right. This is a $6.2 million saving they're talking about. I don't want to be cavalier, but considering how they pissed away our money, I don't think $6.2 million is an awful lot of money to get 330 odd into a room to talk to each other, sometimes raise a voice to each other, and get the room dynamics going, which is what Parliament indeed is all about.
Yeah, agreed. All right, guys, let me pause it there. We'll take a quick commercial break, and then we're going to talk about a couple of... We should be safe. Yeah.
In the share, we now offer plant-based...
That is coming up in just a couple of minutes on Global Talkers Here on Point. I'm Alex Pearson. This is Global News Radio.
Something is coming up.
The world needs more friendly, now more than ever. With TELUS, friendly means becoming part of something bigger. Using technology for good. We'll
bring with you,
But not traditional, Canadian made, elegant, stunning, and uniquely representative of our everlasting love.
Okay.
But honestly, I haven't really thought about it that much.
Right. Find that perfectly unique ring for that perfectly unique person at Spence Diamonds. Open now in Vaughan, Scarborough, and Mississauga.
Downtown Toronto, few clouds. -1 feels like -6. On behalf of our executive producer, Colin Robertson, it's 7:30.
Toronto's #1 for breaking news, traffic, and weather. This is 680 News.
Good evening. This is Thursday, February 25th. I'm Christine Ritchie.
I'm Scott Burnett. Here's what's making news right now.
The province's new modeling numbers show a clear improvement, but variants of concern continue to spread across Ontario.
It's 11:38. It went up. They're saying it's a clear improvement. It went up.
Increase.
2 people have been charged after a newborn child was found buried in the basement of a Hamilton home.
The body of an adult male has been found lying on the ground beside a landfill in Vaughan.
Right on the sidewalk.
And now this industrial area is the scene of a homicide.
Peel police asking any witnesses to come forward after a man is shot in Brampton, leaving him in life-threatening condition.
More NHL games dropping the puck, a total of 8 on the go right now. And the Toronto Blue Jays open their new player development facility. Sports at 45.
The Bears go wild on the markets. The Dow falls more than 500 points. GameStop manages a small gain on the day. And big news in on Mr. Potato Head. Business at 56.
680 News Time 7:31.
Time now for traffic and weather together on the ones. Good evening, Carly Denny here.
Some say challenges. Off with a collision that's causing quite a heavy delay from the DVP out to approaching Warden and the collectors. You can bypass this issue just by getting onto the express lanes and you'll be completely fine. If you're on the westbound 401, no issues on the highway itself, but we do have a collision that's on the northbound Allen ramp to the west 401, partially blocking it in the right lane. And northbound on the 400, that's where we have this full closure in place. Dunlop to Bayfield, all lanes are blocked for police investigation. That's causing a really heavy delay from approaching Mapleview up to Dunlop. So as long as you get off the highway before Mapleview, you will be fine. Fort Erie bound QEW past Fruitland, that collision once again is cleared, but we're still dealing with the delays from just past Centennial Parkway to Fruitland. Get away to Friday Harbor and get back to the things you love. Enjoy winter safely from the comfort of 600 acres of nature. Friday Harbor, come for the day or a lifetime. Friday, I'm in love. Now with a look at the forecast, here's Denise Andriacci.
It's been a mainly clear day today, but we've got a few flurries possible this evening and shortly after midnight tonight. Sunny through the day tomorrow, highs near 3 degrees, periods of snow for late Friday. That's ahead of a rainy system that makes its way in on Saturday. Your overnight low tonight, -7.
Downtown Toronto right now, mostly cloudy and -1. 680 News Time 7:33.
A doctor from Ontario's Science Advisory Group says the next few weeks are crucial if we are to curb the spread of COVID-19 variants. That statement coming as the group presented its latest modeling data on the virus.
680's Phil Martino joins us live to break it all down. Phil.
Scott, Dr. Steiny Brown, co-chair of Ontario Science Advisory Group, says a better summer is in sight if we work for it now. According to the latest modeling numbers, there has been a decline in cases and hospitalizations, and ICU occupancy is also slowing. Now, variants of concern, though, continue to spread across Ontario. Cases, hospitalizations, and ICU admissions will likely soon increase.
Evidence-based approaches to key public health measures, such as focusing vaccination where it has the biggest impacts on deaths and hospitalizations, are the key to controlling the impact of the pandemic at this point.
The projections show more infectious variants of COVID-19 will likely make up 40% of cases in Ontario by the second week of March. Today, Ontario is reporting 1,138 new cases of COVID-19. Phil Martino, 680 News.
680 News Time, 7:34. To Hamilton now, where police have more information into their investigation about the death of a baby. 680's Madison Fitzpatrick joins us live with the details. Madison.
Yeah, Christine, well, police have updated their investigation, which started yesterday after reports of the death of a baby at a residence on Wellington Street North and Wilson Street. Officials say they've made the tragic discovery of a newborn child buried in a basement, which they had to dig through soil to recover. Police say 2 people are believed to be the child's parents have been charged.
Winnie Enzor, she's 24 years of age, and Nathan O'Brien, 34 years of age. And both criminal negligence caused death and interfering with the dead body. We have spoken with both of them, and part of the information they provided has been of assistance to us.
A post-mortem will take place over the next few days to determine the cause of death.
Police say they're continuing to investigate and are asking anyone with additional information to come forward. Reporting live, I'm Madison Fitzpatrick.
680 News Time is 7:35. York Regional Police continue their investigation after a passerby discovered a body lying on a sidewalk near Keele and Teston Road in Vaughan this morning. 680's Mark Douglas has more. There's been a significant police presence here at the end of Teston Road at the edge of an old landfill since police got a call around 8 in the morning from a passerby who found a body. This man works in the area. He saw 4 or 5 police officers circled around something lying out on the street.
Right on the sidewalk. I mean, there's probably people driving by it without noticing it. It sounds like a couple of people showed up at our work and drove right by it and didn't see it. York Regional Police investigators have been focusing their attention on a set of gates to the landfill site. They've been going over the mud and the snow with a metal detector. Constable Laura Nicole says the victim is an adult male, but otherwise, very little is known.
We don't have right now a confirmation on the cause of death or the time, as well as the identity of the victim.
In Vaughan, I'm Mark Douglas.
680 News Time, 7:36. A man is fighting for his life in hospital after he was shot in Brampton early this morning. Peel police arrived in the Brampton neighborhood near Mayfield Road and McLaughlin Road at around 2:15 this morning. They found shell casings on the ground, and after doing a quick search, located a 22-year-old man suffering from gunshot wounds.
That man was transported to a trauma center in life-threatening condition and remains there at this time.
Investigators have been on the scene throughout the day
and are seeking any witnesses, anyone that may have heard anything, saw anything, or anyone that may have surveillance footage on their homes to contact them.
And officers are trying to determine how many shots were fired and if there was more than one shooter.
680 News Time, 7:37. Ontario's health minister says the vaccine rollout dates provided yesterday are still up in the air. General Hillier yesterday providing a list of dates of when certain age groups will be able to get the vaccine. But Health Minister Christine Elliott today says that's not set in stone.
Timelines are still subject to change regarding the influx of vaccines.
The minister was also asked who the essential workers are who will receive the vaccine first. She says it still has to be finalized and they're working on it. And Liberal MPP John Fraser is reacting.
That's incredible. It's no wonder that we're behind. We were behind in getting doses to long-term care. We're behind on the protocol.
Also at Queen's Park today, the Ford government tabling a bill that would double the amount of money you can donate to a political party, candidate or party, from just over $1,600 to $3,300 a year.
U.S. President Joe Biden is marking another milestone in the COVID-19 fight, but this time it's a positive one.
The president says America is halfway to his goal of administering 100 million vaccine shots in his...
All these things change, but these authors, we're talking about Dr. Seuss, which is mandatory stuff for little kids. Farley Mowat is embedded in the Canadian motif. You're going to take these books away because they use words that were perfectly legitimate at one time.
But Little House on the Prairie was written in the 1800s. I grew up on this. I still watch the show whenever I see it. I mean, but again, this is what was written, Rick. And to think that you're just going to get rid of all that, I think.
This Little House on the Prairie is whitewashing a genocide, and Mr. Potato Head is not.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, this is censorship, really, at the end of the day. One of the other reasons that caught my eye was non-Indigenous author telling Indigenous stories.
That's not allowed.
So is the reverse allowed? Because it shouldn't be if that is. So, yeah, this is dangerous territory here. And I think at the end of the day, what we're doing is we're robbing our elementary and high school kids some great literature, whether it's an Indigenous story or not, or told from a different aspect. I think at the end of the day, this is a slippery slope, and I don't think we should be going down.
Well, they will, no question. I don't have a lot of time for this, but my, when I saw this story, my head popped up. Mr. Potato Head, no longer a Mr. Hasbro, which makes the potato-shaped plastic toy, is giving the Spud a gender-neutral new name, Potato Head. So that'll change this year. Honestly, Peter, really, I'm just so tired of this.
Well, it's crazy. It's crazy.
And by the way, there is a Mrs. Potato Head, okay? Like, are we not supposed to have any genders now?
You're the one that wanted that.
0.9 cents a liter at most GTA stations. Your traffic and the forecast coming up in 60 seconds.
This is 680 News.
It takes more than a coat of paint. When you're selling your house, you need to stage it just right. Store your valuables with access storage and show.
Nombre de stations, 95 etc. Et donc, cette porteuse-là, elle consomme beaucoup d'énergie pour être générée, pour être maintenue à la bonne fréquence.
But you can make Mr. or the potato head any gender you want. I mean, you can mix it, match it, whatever. I just honestly think this is so over the top, out of control, and it turns me off altogether. That it's just, to me, it's not even political correctness. It's just insanity.
We'll just rewrite everything.
He-Man is next on the hit list.
Yeah, well, exactly. Where does this stop? I mean, yeah, everyone's got to. You can only play with Caillou. That's it.
A bonus 2-year warranty on premium TVs. And also, I shouldn't be operating this forklift. Sorry. See the flyer at visions.ca.
680 News Time, 741.
And with your eyes on those roads, here's Carly Donahue. This report's brought to you by Ontario Honda dealers. Right now, we have a serious crash on the eastbound 401 approaching Warden in the collectors. 2 left lanes are blocked off. Traffic barely moving through the collector lanes right now. So I would really suggest you get into the express before the DBP because those collector lanes are just absolutely jammed, moving at snail pace right now from the DBP all the way out to Warden in the collectors. That's it for the eastbound 401, though. Then on the northbound 400, we have a full closure. All lanes blocked between Dunlop and Bayfield for police investigation. That's causing a delay from approaching Mapleview to Dunlop. So once again, get off the highway before Mapleview or you're going to be stuck in some really heavy delays. Westbound on the 401, they've now shut down the northbound Allen ramp to the highway, and that's just due to a collision. And then we have delays on the Fort Erie bound QEW from Centennial Parkway to Fruitland, and that's due to an earlier collision that has since cleared. Get $3,000 in cash incentives on all remaining 2020 Honda Civic sedan models. On now with the Honda Dream Garage event. Shop online at HondaOntario.com. Your next report's at 7:51 with a look at the forecast. Here's Denise Andriacci.
It was a sunny and seasonal day today, and we'll tap back into that sunshine for tomorrow. Sunny and 3 degrees for Friday. Now, tonight and overnight, we could see just a few scattered flurries, but then we tap back into dry air for the pre-dawn hours. And again, we are seasonal through the afternoon. We'll drop to near 0 for Friday night. We've got the chance of some light periods of snow Friday into pre-dawn Saturday. Your overnight low tonight, -7.
Downtown Toronto right now, partly cloudy and 0. At Pearson, partly cloudy and -1. 680 News Time, 7:43.
A warning for dog owners in Bolton. Provincial police have received 3 reports so far this month of possible dog poisoning using antifreeze. All of them are in neighborhoods around James Bolton Public School. One case involved a piece of bread soaked in antifreeze. Police are telling owners to watch out for what their pets might be getting into when they're outside, and they say keeping your pet on a leash might also help. Coming up at 7:48, Peel Region votes to move into the red zone if their lockdown ends on March 9th, but the decision comes with a caveat. Details up next.
680 News Time, 7:43.
So what's on the cover here?
News listeners are on the road. They like to save time and stay safe, and that's
Here's
why
here,
407 ATR
Secretariat
chooses
building.
680 News to connect with drivers.
It's this little thing here. It's all these skyscrapers. And this one over here is the Hong Kong Shanghai Banking Corporation.
The programming
Much larger.
every hour of the day is.
What do you call yourself, governor?
I'm the representative of our everlasting law.
Buy stuff.
Okay. But honestly, I haven't really thought about it that much.
Right. Find that perfectly unique ring for that perfectly unique person at Spence Diamonds. Open now in Vaughan, Scarborough, and Mississauga.
The health of workers and customers is the #1 priority for every Canadian business owner and manager. As businesses prepare to fully reopen,
Par exemple, si vous voulez, dans la maison intelligente, en domotique, avoir des capteurs partout, vous ne voulez pas changer des batteries à chaque année, ça devient très lourd. Je pense notamment à des capteurs d'humidité pour les...
Malaysia is a land of astonishing variety, for each historical era has left its imprint. With its potpourri of Malays, Chinese, Indians, and countless native tribes, the country is an anthropologist's delight. You got natives and Indians. Thank you.
plus que quelques heures. Et donc, on aimerait bien avoir cette puce-là là-dedans aussi. Donc, vous voyez, les applications sont quand même assez vastes. Et ça,
Every last one of these
parce qu'on a une
things is written in
technologie
English.
quand même unique, mais avec tellement d'applications qu'il faut savoir se cibler quand même sur une application au moins pour commencer.
Cela dit, quand on regarde des bons vieux produits électroniques, là, je pense aux nos calculatrices qu'on avait au secondaire, là, qui avaient une petite cellule photovoltaïque, puis tu ouvres ça, puis ta calculatrice est capable de faire ces choses. Est-ce qu'avec une puce, justement, aussi peu gourmande en énergie que celle que vous avez développée, on pourrait se retrouver avec ça, c'est-à-dire des produits... Là...
This is horrible. This is horrible. Background. As recently as 130 years ago, Kuala Lumpur did not exist. I don't know if any of this is true. This is what it says. There were only the swampy, jungle-clad banks of the Gombak and Klang rivers. Two Chinese traders, He Siu and Ah Ji Kaladek, noticed the clearing as they were poling upriver. Deciding that it was as good a spot as any other, they set up shop on the site in order to supply the tin miners of nearby Ampang. The outpost grew and ultimately thrived against great odds. Of the 87 original prospectors, 70 died of fever within the first month.
Une station de base quelque part chez vous. Et là, tout d'un coup, tout ce que vous avez à faire, c'est coller des capteurs comme ça, tant qu'il y a un peu de lumière à côté, puis jamais vous...
Oh, dear. Further discoveries of tin swelled the population of the shantytown, which reeled from epidemics, devastating fires, and gang wars. Where are we hearing these stories today? Secret societies warred over tin holdings, and only the toughest and fittest survived. Scrap metal gang wars, of course. Tin czar, I swear to God it says that, gambling boss and brothel owner Yap Ah Loy, the town boss, apparently remarked after offering, I guess this is 100 Malaysian dollars, for his enemies' heads, "It has been as much as I could do to count out the money fast enough." In 1868, Yap Ah Loy was made the Kapitan Tina, I don't know, the Chinese headman of Kuala Lumpur, a move welcomed by the British, who were eager to end the gang wars and stabilize the tin industry. Meanwhile, Sultan Abdul Samad of Selangor was having problems with the defiant Raja Mahdi, who refused to remit his revenues from the Klang Valley tin mine. It gets complicated fast.
$100 on select vehicles.
You heard from Dr. Williams. Well, there were a number of them. It's almost hard to choose. It was Dr. Williams said out loud that he hadn't bought into the idea of asymptomatic spread until late in the summer. And that's very hard to understand because certainly we were talking about it in medical journals in March, and the World Health Organization came out on June the 9th and confirmed that there were cases of asymptomatic spread. So I'm not sure what was the part for him that wasn't resonant. The other piece...
Well, certainly because I'll remind you, I mean, schools were shutting down because there was concern of that raised by the teachers union. So, I mean, I don't know, like, how he didn't know that.
And if you look at how other provinces were behaving as well, this is certainly quite contrary, for instance, to how British Columbia started acting. I guess that leads to the second piece of revelation, which is around, the lack of concern he had for staff going between homes. And he even doubled down on it at one point and said that there wasn't evidence that staff were spreading between homes, but that they were, perhaps getting it from the community. And then we heard the commission say, but isn't that fundamentally the biggest concern, is that it was coming in to the long-term care homes from the outside? And there was really no good answer that was provided to that as well. I guess
I found that puzzling too, though, because and I want to bounce off your point, because he acknowledged that you have these personal safety workers working at grocery stores, that is in the community, and he doesn't recognize that they're going there into the community and bringing it into the homes. Like, that didn't square for me.
It didn't square for me either. And there was
if you agree to only work at one long-term care facility,
concerning. It seemed dismissive.
Are you allowed to work at other places that are not long-term care homes?
Staff working in pizza parlors and not paying attention. And for somebody who's the top doctor in charge of COVID response in Ontario, that seems a peculiar thing to focus on, when really what we're talking about right now are almost 3,500 deaths of seniors
And there seems to be this sense of shifting the blame to low-income workers who are really just trying to make ends meet.
Yeah, and the other concern, and there are many, is that a lot of the measures that are such a threat to the most vulnerable, who apparently we had an iron ring put around, are still in place. So we still have personal safety workers bouncing from home to home.
What are personal safety workers?
And when we're looking at what
they will conveniently insert the word they want you to think.
Close to those stores.
It's not a thing. These are personal support workers, but you're trying to make you think they're more important than they are. And that is great that the province is offering it as a tuition-free course now. When it was first offered, it wasn't even a college-level course. It was like some after-school thing at the adult learning centers or some shit. I'm not even joking. They didn't care who you were. They needed personal support workers. Well, look at who you got. You set up the hiring in such a way that you got the people that would not give a fuck about the people that they'd be working with, and all the people that might have made a difference wouldn't go near that. So.
We would be looking at just
3351 or visit Israel Bonds.
680 News Time, 7:51.
Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Kelly Donahue.
This report is brought to you by OntarioTravelClinics.com. So we have two major issues affecting your drive. One, if you're going up north towards Barrie, the northbound 400 is shut down for Dunlop to Bayfield, and that is due to a police investigation. So traffic barely moving from approaching Mapleview up to Dunlop. If you are going north, your last chance to get off the highway before you're caught in that mess of delays is at Mapleview.
Cops are right there, right?
You can go north on Bayview, take that to Burton, and then take Burton to Essa, and that will get you up north into Barrie. Or there's a number of alternates. They're all moving fine right now, but just make sure that if you are getting off the highway, your last chance is Mapleview, and then you're going to run into some very serious delays. Speaking of serious delays, eastbound 401 approaching Warden in the collectors. We have a collision blocking the left two lanes. That's only leaving you with the right lane to get through. Delays are just at a standstill right now. We have barely any movement through that stretch in the collectors, and that extends from the DVP all the way out to Warden. So you're going to want to really get in the Express. Express is moving well through this stretch. It's just the collectors that are pretty much almost at a full stop, but we do have that right lane open. On the northbound Allen ramp to the West 401, there is a collision, so they've closed down that ramp. And then we have a new problem, West 401 at Islington in the Express, a stalled vehicle blocking the right lane, no delay through that stretch. All your other major routes are moving up to speed. For quick private PCR COVID-19 testing in the GTA, call the Ontario Travel and Immunization Clinics at 905-828-6000. That's 905-828-6000. With the forecast, here's Denise Andriocci.
A few scattered flurries possible this evening and shortly after midnight, and then into the pre-dawn hours, a clearing trend will tap back into sunshine for Friday with seasonal temperatures highs near 3 degrees. Now, the weekend is mild but unsettled. Saturday looks to be where we get the brunt of the precipitation, and it's late Friday into early Saturday where we could see a trace to 1 centimeter of snow. Temperatures will start to rise above the freezing mark. We'll get into a bit of mixed precipitation and then eventually some rain for Saturday, highs near 6 degrees. Chance of showers Sunday, also highs near 6 degrees. Your overnight low tonight, -7.
Downtown Toronto right now, partly cloudy and 0. At Pearson, partly cloudy and -1.
At Volvo, we are always prepared and ready to help. And we want to make shopping for your next vehicle feel as safe as it would be driving it. So join us between February 22nd to the 27th for the Volvo showroom event and receive 3 lease payments waived on those 2021 models.
There's only like 1 business day and 2 weekend days left. Are they just going to cut out a day early? We get 23 days this year.
Coming up at 8 o'clock, the latest on Ontario's latest modeling data that has health officials warning that we must proceed with care and caution as the spread of COVID-19 variants is becoming a big concern. Just in the last month, the number of cases coming back with the variants has jumped by 300%. 680 News Time, 7:54.
The big story. I'm your host, Jordan Heath Rawlings. Who's watching?
300%. No data is data, and that's science. That's the mayor of Halton Hills. What was that? December, November, October? I can't remember. No, because it's dumb, so I don't want to remember. That's horrible. It's just fucking horrible. Yeah, we had, no, we're not getting a Black History Minute. That was our Black History Minute. Damn it. So what did we hear last night about Joseph Smythe, whatever the fucking Sierra Leonean Air Force captain or something? Shit, Air Force officer. Okay, I'm gonna fuck that up. That is hot as fuck for some fucking reason. Still didn't fucking roll my joint. Oh, and the business reports can be all about Reddit stocks or some shit. Oh, why am I tuning into this digest? It's 5 minutes left. There won't be anything on this station.
You order while wearing pajama pants, bunny slippers, and holding a mug that says, "I'm not a regular mom, I'm a cool mom."
I thought we weren't going to talk about that. It's fresh.
Aussi à plusieurs personnes. Ce qui notre nature de personnes vivantes, résilientes et tout, fait en sorte que, en général ou en majorité, là je dirais ça comme ça, le noir ou la noire, on réagit, on n'agit pas. On a tendance souvent à réagir. Donc il y a quelque chose qui nous arrive et puis on réagit. L'histoire de Freud le dit, plein de choses comme ça, on réagit parce que oui, non, on n'est pas d'accord, puis sans pour autant réfléchir en le faisant, et c'est comme ça qu'on réagit, année après année, décennie après décennie, les choses ne changent pas. Alors donc, je pense qu'il y a une façon qu'on pourrait faire de sorte que, essayons de faire l'état des lieux, c'est important, mais de faire l'autopsie de où on est rendu aujourd'hui là, pour qu'est-ce qui fait que les choses n'avancent pas, qu'on puisse vraiment se le dire. Et ensuite, après ça, mettre ça dans un contexte en tenant compte de tous les paramètres en jeu. Si on ne tient pas, on ne prend pas en compte les paramètres en jeu, y compris les gens qui ont mis le système en place n'ont aucun intérêt à changer ce système qui leur profite jamais. Qu'est-ce qu'ils font souvent? Quand nous réagissions, qu'est-ce qu'ils font? Ils mettent les couvercles sur la marmite. Ils donnent des subventions, ils font des déclarations, ils mettent des comités ministériels de noirs, de je ne sais pas quoi. Mais le danger et le malheur, c'est quoi? Nous soutenons ce système en participant à ça, sachant très bien que ça ne va rien donner. Alors c'est pour ça que normalement, nous devrions prendre en compte, prendre nos distances, essayer de trouver notre propre approche. Et en tenant compte de... Parce que le système là, ils voient comment on agit. Hein. D'abord, ils connaissent même plus que nous-mêmes. Ils savent exactement où il faut frapper pour nous faire calmer. L'histoire de Fred, ça fait tout le monde entier, non? C'est quoi le résultat? On a fait des promesses.
Current safety codes, call C.
Helping everyone, including kids in school, in colleges, and around the world. It's provided a platform. Let's make the world just a little bit better.
What shock I found. Load again.
No love, that's what I get, huh? We know how to solve them. No love, that's what I get, huh?
Walter was a crackhead, always a crackhead. Remember when you owe money to those Asian guys in Montreal? You're lucky, they from the 90s and they know me. You're trying to shoot you with a ball-based shorty, that's what you told me. I came to Montreal to save you, to bitch you. Never judge you for smoking hard, told you I used to sell that crap to your family member. Nowadays, you finally change, you're acting insane. Always talking about money. You ain't rich, dude. No fancy cars, don't impress me. I been there, done that. Bare facts. Ruckus like Carlito, the way your niggas is fake. My cousin Liz is a fool. Didn't come when we invited you. Fuck you. Think you're the hardest, but when you're actually the weakest. Family problems, we know how to solve them. Friends problems, we know how to solve them. Family problems, we know how to solve them. Friends problems, we know how to solve them. Yeah, it's ruckus. It's ruckus. It's who? Family problems, we know how to solve them. Friends problems, we know how to solve them. Yeah, my friends love me. That's all I need. My friends love me. Liz didn't come to the family reunion last summer. Fuck you and your lover. I'm over it now. I wear the crown, respected everywhere. Bitch, you never there. Not even coke. Who you try to provoke? End up and choke. This is you choke. Unflawed. With friends in the same garbage. Spit knowledge. Bitch, I'm a problem. 38 revolver. If they cross that line, that's right. Cause I'm a psycho, a sicko with a good heart. That showed them all at first, and they turned into I don't know what the fuck. Made my cousin Mervin and my hate. Let the be y'all. Come on, dog. Just me and my girl and a gun. Stuck in the throne, connected like the mafia. You don't know nada. Ask mom and dad. They ain't got the answers. Getting love from strangers. Fans been holding me down. I got the juice now. Holding me down. I got the juice now. It's ruckus. Family problems, I know how to solve them. Friends problems, I know how to solve them. Family problems, we know how to solve them. Friends problems, we know how to solve them. Yeah. Put up the kids, man. I don't even know, man, what's going on with them. Yeah. And all my family members in Montreal, y'all missed my last 2018 biggest show for 2018. Fuck out of here, man. All I needed, even my friends too, you know what I'm saying, my ex-friends, you know what I'm saying, all I needed was support, know your fucking money, know your toys. Okay, my friend, motherfucker, I got my own shit. That's what I get, huh? No love. That's what you get, huh? No love. Family problems, we know how to solve them. Friends problems, we know how to solve them. Family problems, we know how to solve them. Friends problems, we know how to solve them. Yeah. It's ruckus. Salute me or shoot me, man. Nobody cares. Year 2020, man. Mixtape. Yeah, album. Big shout out to my fans. I love y'all, man. We're gonna get some free ruckus gear soon, nigga.